Well, welcome back, those of you who've come back to see me again, and for those of you who are new, welcome along. On today's episode, we're going to have a look at designing and engraving a chessboard. And it's a pretty quick job to do. Well, at least the design part. G'day, I'm Dave TTC, and this is Dave's Cave, Australia. Just jumping back on in the middle of the broadcast, in the middle of the intro here, and while I'm doing this on Slate, just like to remind you, if you haven't already thought about it, that this principle can be applied across a range of materials. You could do it on ceramic tile, you could do it on glass, on mirror, on wood. So while I'm showing on Slate, don't think Slate's the only option. And even with the slightly different colour to highlight your squares, by playing around with your material, you may be able to come up with something to give that difference there. You might be able to go for a light shading for the white and something just a little bit darker or a bit more standing out for the grid, for the lines around each square. So think about that. Anyway, we'll get back to where we were. Thanks. Please, as always, like, subscribe, and share. So what is it we're doing? Well, here's a mini version. Now, I'm not sure how good that shows up, but it's not just the checkerboard. I've actually outlined both the dark squares and the light squares in what comes up to be a fairly golden colour. I'm hoping that you might get a little bit of reflection on the light there. I can't really tell. This one here, it's a long burn just for a piece of 4x4 or 100x100. That took about an hour 23, but there are some ways to speed it up. Let's turn our attention to the screen. We'll have a look at what I've already done, how I did that one, and then we're going to do one from scratch. Okay, so up here, we've got this one here. That is the one that I printed off, and I've just done it pink and yellow so it stands out, and you'll see I've got a tool path around the edge of it. So that's all being grouped together and locked in place. Now if we just jump up and do a preview, there we see 1 hour, 23 and 46 seconds. So yeah, if you were wanting to make money off it, you'd be wanting to tweak it somehow or come up with a quicker method. And I have done that, not with that one. If you were wanting to do one that was for yourself or someone special, you probably would go the settings that go a little bit longer so that the gold stands out a little bit. But if we soften that a bit, we can get it going quicker, and also we can change the settings on the white squares. And that won't make much difference to the overall finish, but it'll make a reasonable difference to the overall speed. I normally do my engraving down in the southwest corner. I've got a lasermatic with a honeycomb that has been calibrated into place. It didn't come with lock pins. If you want to see about what I mean by calibrating, have a look at one of my other videos. It's in the link, it's in the comments below. You'll be able to find it there. So from this position here, I just go up to the top of my screen after highlighting it, and I just click that square at that little angle at the top, and it goes straight into that corner. You can pop it into any of the corners by hitting that at the top, or you could hit it bang into the center. I like going to the southwest corner. That's where I work. The LA hobby guy, he likes to work at the back, and for good reason. As he says, the fan is at the back and you're most likely to get rid of your smoke by going to the back. I'm a little bit short and my desk is a little bit high, so I like to work at the front. All right, so we're going to delete that. Say bye-bye. No. Hey, Jude. Okay, I've done that before. That's not you. All right, so to start off with, we're going to need a square. So we hit the square or square and rectangle icon up the top there, and by holding shift as we go, we just drag out a square. The material that I'm going to print on is 200 by 200. It's rough edge slate, So I want to come in about 10 mil. It's not really critical, just nominal 10 mil. So if we end up being, 1 or 2 mil over or under, say 180, that's not going to matter. So what I'm going to do is I'll make that for the time being 20. So we go up the top, we see we've got our ratio locked, and we'll just type in 20, tab, enter, does the same thing. It's been made smaller. Now we're going to make our squares at this stage pink. So there we have pink, and at this stage we just want it to be a line. So we'll stick with line. All right. We will go to our select button. There we have it. So it's 20 mil, and I'm going to have 8 squares in each direction, and I want to have a 2.5 mil gap between each one. So by selecting the square and coming down to my grid array tool, you can see I've already got 20 by 20. That's the size of what I've got, and I've already typed in 22.5 because that's the spacing I want. We'll just fix that one over there. We'll just fix that whole one, 22.5. All right, shouldn't have pressed enter. We'll open that again. And now we want 8 and 8. There we have it. It's as easy as that, and we've got our squares right away. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate that. We'll see why in a minute, and we'll just pop that over there. Working with what we've got, click on that, and we see our overall size is 177.5. Now I want a 2.5 mil border around all the edges, so we've got to add 2.5 twice, so 5 mil. So that'll become 182.5. Whoops, sorry. The border will become 182.5. We've got to draw the border. Let's draw the border. Holding down the shift button, and now we'll go back up there, 182.5. We'll go select. All right, now we've got them both. Now we'll take them and we'll use our center tool up here, lock that in, and we can change that to, I'm going to choose offset fill here. There we go. We now have that section done. This is going to be our yellow squares, so we'll just change the color on that to yellow. That's that. The other thing we want is the size of our piece that we're working with, so 200 by 200. We'll do that. We'll go 200, enter. That's good. And we're going to change that to a toolpath, so we'll make that color, and we're going to select these two, and we're going to center them, and we're going to lock them and pop it down in the bottom corner. That's ready to laser. All right, now we've got to do our checkerboard. There's a few ways we go about it. We could just select every alternate one and delete it. We need to unlock it for starters. So we could just go select them and delete and keep going. Or the other way you could do it is we could delete that, take this here, go back to our grid array and change this to 45, which is double 22.5. Enter, whoops. And because we've got 2 rows there, we only need to have 4 more of what we've got. So we hit 4, and we've got our entire selection done. Now we just grab everything, we center it, and we'll pop it back down to the bottom corner, here we are, we're ready to do a burn. That easy. All right, so let's jump on over to the laser and we'll get it all happening. I'll fire the laser up. So we'll home that, jog once to the south, once to the west. If you're new here and you don't know why I home mine up in the northeast corner and why I have to do this jogging at the beginning, down in the comment below I've got something about having home position wherever you want it. And the one little workaround I have is it won't take off from the northeast corner without jogging it once in each direction first. It's just natural inclination is to take off as though it's in the southwest corner. But once it's been jogged, it'll go anywhere you want. Anyway, preview. Let's have a look at a preview. Oh, right, 5 hours. That's long. So what are we going to do about that? Well, we can run this one, and while that's happening, we can have a shot at reworking this. So we'll say OK, and we'll say start. Now we'll show you some of what's happening as we go along. All right, if we've got our attention back over here, I'm going to take all of these again and I'm going to ungroup them. Okay, so while that job is taking care of itself, let's just have a look at where the time is taken up and give some thought to what we can do to have a quicker process. And now remember, this is now at a 200 by 200, or to suit a 200 by 200 piece of slate, whereas the first one was a 100 by 100. So it's going to be 4 times as long as the small one. If we turn off the output to the pink, and we can do a test on that section there, that's only 34 minutes. All right, so that means that our gold color is the main culprit of all the time. Let's have a look at how long that takes. 4 hours, 27 minutes, and 11 seconds. That is huge. Now we need to do something about that. And there's a couple of things we can do. And it means a redesign. Okay, we'll take all of that and we'll just chuck it to the bin. We'll turn our yellow layer back on and we're going to do a quick redesign. Okay, so what can we do to make it quicker? Well, we've got to make our border smaller. And we're also going to make the border cut quicker. And also the white section we can cut quicker. So, square again. And instead of 20, we're going to go for 21. Whoops. 21. It doesn't really matter what color it is. We'll go yellow. And then we'll go to our reference here. So that gives us a 1.5 border. We've got 21 and 22.5. That should work well. 22.5, 8 by 8. There's going to be a slightly smaller border. Grab that. And we're going to duplicate it, Control D. We'll pop that over there. We'll change to pink. We're going to draw ourselves a pink square. Okay, what is the size? 178.5, and we're having 1.5 millimeters. So we want to add 3 to that. So the square this time is going to be 181.5. So let's do our square at 181.5, and let's select them. If I go to the select tool instead, 181.5, and we will center them and we will group it. That's that bit done. Pop that up out of the way. We'll come back to our square and we're going to ungroup it. Going to delete those ones and just alternate these and delete. I'm going to take that and we're going to go back to our 45mm spacing. And if I don't hit enter and put the number in first, one day I'll remember. 4. That's okay, that's done. Alright, now, is it all grouped? It is grouped, that's good. And now we'll group these. Well, we'll center it and then group them. Center, group, and we will do ourselves toolpath. Wish that didn't pop up so easy at the bottom. Our toolpath is going to be 200 and select tool, group all of that, center it, group it, send it to the bottom. Alright, so last time round we were looking at over 5 hours to do that. Let's have a look at how long it takes now. Okay, so we've dropped about 2 hours off. What else can we do? If we were to take the squares and increase that 4500 speed, I know that when I'm doing a picture I'm running at around about 9800. Let's just go 9900 and see what that does. It's not going to make a big difference. This is the smaller of the two that'll make a difference. Okay, so we've shaved a bit over 10 minutes. Not a great deal. Say okay to that. This is where we're going to make a difference on the pink, on the offset fill. Let's change that. If we have a look at my chart from yesterday, 3, 6, 9 all was getting a goldish colour, possibly 1200. Let's see how 1200 looks. Wow, look at that. That brings it down to an hour and 8. That makes a huge difference. Now, if you just have a look at a couple of excerpts of the first one going, and while you're watching that, I'll go get the first one. Okay, so here's our board. Not sure how good it shows up there. The white squares are possibly a little bit yellow, so a faster speed wouldn't hurt. And I don't know if I can get lucky enough to get some reflection off the light, if you can pick up the goldy colour. The gold is not too bad. Yeah, that's not bad. But we'll do one at a faster speed and we'll be right back. We're going to have a bit of a time lapse. Well, here's our next one. So our white is a bit whiter. It's not as yellow as the last one. The gold is not as pronounced. Definitely not as pronounced as the small one. So that is the sacrifice you make. But in my opinion, it just gives that nice little bit of extra finesse. It looks good. And overall, I'm happy with that. Now I've used a natural edge. There's a chip right there. Not sure how well you can make that out. You'd want to be careful with a chest piece on that corner. Rooks get knocked off pretty quick, so hey, you know, maybe you'll just fall off the perch, so to speak. This was just a test piece. You can get slate with smooth edges, with a square edge. It doesn't have to be natural edge like this. And if you went for a smooth edge, you would be less likely to have drama with excessive size in any of these chips on the edges. Well, overall, I give that a pass. Don't know what you think? Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Is that a sort of chessboard that you'd make? So on that note, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.